All right. So this session is actually being recorded in audio, and either way, all sessions are recorded in video. But this is special because this is actually a podcast recording we are going to air next week. Artur did not know that. It's going to be on the Hipster Talks next week. So, Artur, we're going to play it out for our listeners on Spotify and Apple Music and everywhere. Like, let's do it right. I'm going to do it like we always do. So, we are recording this session, Artur, by the way. If you have any question, just let me know, all right? Once we hit the recording button, we start. And if you have any questions or replies that did not come out correctly, just say it, okay? All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, welcome to Prague Gaming and Tech Summit and Hipster Talks, episode 14, which is recorded live in Prague right now. So I have here with me Artur Ashyrov, CTO at GR8. Artur, it's nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me here. Nice to see all of you guys. And let's talk about...
I think you need to hold it closer.
Let's talk about technology.
All right, let's talk about technology. We don't want to spend much time on gibberish talk about compliance. So, Artur, can you share how your journey from working on outsourcing projects to leading platform development across several industries has shaped your approach to technology and leadership?
Well, I have background not only in outsourcing projects, so I've started my career as my first job was I worked actually as a courier in doing deliveries for earning some money for summer as a student, and then during some lunch I met some guys from IT team of that company. We had a talk, they liked me, and they figured out that I know some things about computer science. So they proposed me to do some tasks for them, and then 2 weeks after, I had actually a real job. So I've started, that's how I started my IT career. Then I really figured out that I need to sharpen my hard skills, and the best way to do that is actually to go to outsourcing company. I think that outsourcing company are great when it comes to practicing in some very specific areas in environment with very mature processes and stuff. And then at some point I figured out that I've started to mention that my stakeholders are not that interested in my hard skills, but they're more interested in the ability of solving problems.
Soft skills.
Yeah, soft skills. So after that, I've joined some iGaming company, and there was an event which I think was a turning point for kind of what shaped me as a leader, as a tech leader, and it was actually a crisis. I call it a red wedding. So when the shareholders decided to let go the whole team under my supervision, so that was tough times, but I mean that was a good opportunity to take decisions, be empathic to the team. So I found actually other company who was willing to onboard us, and with a team of 7, I think it was 7 of us. So I've made some commitments to the shareholders to implement kind of the platform part for them in just 1 year, and we made it. And that platform actually increased year-to-year revenue of the company back in the days for 30%. So I think, the crisis situations really shaped me as kind of leadership skills.
Like a diamond, right? All right.
Exactly.
Okay, so what key lessons have you learned from fostering growth and innovation within this technical team?
Well, for me as a kind of engineering manager or manager leader, I think that the main takeaway would be that to provide environment for engineers which actually encourages them to do what they are best in, and for engineers, it's solving the problems. So it is tempting to consider your engineers just as working force, especially if you're more kind of operational kind of guy. But still, the best things I think happening when you actually include the engineers to the full cycle of problem solving. So, for example, to pre-sale things, to meet with product managers, with clients, with maybe other teams from operator side, and so on and so forth.
Otherwise, they don't know what the hell you're talking about, right?
Yeah, and then they tell everyone that you're stupid because your task sucks and stuff like that.
All right, so let's also touch base on AI because we have to. Right, so my question is about how do you see generative AI and other emergent technologies transforming the role of engineers, which are maybe in danger or not, and of course developers in the tech industry, and particularly within great tech?
Well, that's a pretty interesting question. So first of all, that's interesting because sometimes, in our industry, like developers or coders are being put equal to the engineers, and I think it's not always the case. So, engineer is a kind of his focus on problem solving and to create new knowledge and to create new technologies, enable some new opportunities, and so on and so forth. What we can see now is actually that, for example, generative AI creates a huge inflation on the hard skills itself. So, for example, like there was a funny case, we have kind of weekly management call in great tech, and I was a little bit angry about the fact that some of my peers were always late. So I've decided to implement this kind of calculator, which just, calculates like second by second. It just ticks how much money was, wasted while we were waiting for other guys. And I was able to do it in like 5 minutes using ChatGPT. But looking in my own kind of career experience, I would be paid for this code like, I don't know, hundreds of dollars back in the days. So it's kind of another simple example would be like generating some, graphic assets. I know that, it's not always good. For example, these cases when some gaming companies started to generate their assets totally by using generative AI. But still, at some, in some processes, you can just totally automate stuff now. So it's kind of inflates the hard skills, but I don't think that generative AI, at the moment at least, is capable enough to create new knowledge.
Yeah, exactly, because given the fact that we have generative AI, you still need to know how to prompt that thing.
Exactly.
That's why engineers, developers will not be replaced, because they know how to do that. They have that in their mind. Just an average Joe just opens ChatGPT up. He just gives the prompt, but that's it.
I have this joke that actually engineers and developers are safe as far as product managers and maybe project managers can clearly state what they need to do.
Exactly, because they cannot do that anytime. All right, so in your experience, what are the most significant changes that you observed in technical tasks due to automation and AI technologies?
Well, the ones that I already mentioned, I think that many tasks could be automated, and to bring this can bring some added value and kind of technical excellence. For example, I really looking forward to AI capabilities in operations, so what is called AI ops. And just to give you an example, so like last year, I wanted to learn how to create these working prototypes with Figma, for example, just to be able to, to create some prototype, to test it, to test some hypothesis before going into execution. And nowadays, Figma is packed with AI capabilities, so it takes for me like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to create working prototype, and I think that's great.
So definitely it brings a shift towards forward thinking and simplicity.
Exactly.
Right, so can you maybe give an example of how this shift has manifested and led to a breakthrough in project you have overseen?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I would like to answer this question not focusing too much on AI, but still. So I had some projects where simplification for clients and for kind of customers, different groups of customers, did some breakthroughs. The first thing comes to my mind is there was one project. So we had aggregation platform for content, and we were need to. Back in the days, so the problem was that it was not unified, and one integration was done like in I don't know. I think throughput back 5 years ago it was like 2 in 6 months. Then we've came up with this solution for unifying these APIs and toolkit. Then we were able to do 2 integrations per month. But then my stakeholders back in the days, they wanted to do more. So we had a huge backlog of some vendors who wanted to go, to be added to the platform. So we had this brainstorm session with my team, and we've decided just to simplify stuff and decided to why wouldn't we give possibility to the vendors to integrate themselves? So instead of integrating them and spend our time on these boring tasks, we've introduced some toolkit which allowed actually for them to integrate to the platform by themselves. And the throughput after implementing this kind of, it's open platform basically concept, the throughput went to 20 per month. So
that's good. All right, so most probably everybody uses ChatGPT, and you guys know that when you give a prompt and you overcomplicate it, it gets dizzy. I think that's the term called in AI, right? It blurs things and it gives you the result you did not want. So the same is with humans, right? It's the same with developers. So how do you guide your teams to avoid this overcomplication and stay focused on the essential objects of a project, not to overcomplicate things?
What I do is actually like the essential skill for any engineer is to actually correctly identify the problem to solve. So what I do is actually I always, when I see that, it start to dribble, the team start to, do something different or not important, I just always this question, so what problem are we trying to solve? And that seems like a very simple question, but, correctly defining the problem statement, it's not that easy actually, because what I always see these pitfalls or teams trying to imply the solution. We need this technology, we need that, etc., etc. But then I just try to step back and to see the problem without implying the solution, to actually create more wide, I would say, possible ways to solve the problem, and that usually works.
All right. So from your perspective as a CTO, what does engineering excellence look like from the client's viewpoint, and how do you ensure that tech performance is seamless and goes unnoticed by the end user? Because that's also important.
Well, I think that the good technology could be identified as the one which is actually easy to adopt. That would be the first pillar. And the second, which is actually very transparent. So you just don't mention this technology at all. That's why I think, like for my teams, I'm trying to, take these two pillars and to identify metrics based on that. For example, how many problems do we actually detect before the client, before their ticket to our system? Another example of such metric would be how many tasks the client can do by themselves without actually involving our team at all. So that's example of our company, but I think the metrics themselves, excellence metrics, they're very contextual to organization. So I don't think that the metrics from great tech could be used anywhere, but still those are that we're using.
All right, so could you share an example where you focused on the client's experience and dramatically improved the product or a service at Great Tech?
I think that example that I already mentioned regarding open platform for integration, that could be considered as simplification for the client, because the client is not only operator. So if you think about it, there are different kind of groups of clients. It's not always the businessman, business-oriented people. Sometimes the clients are, for example, a tech team, developers, or some external team. And I think that example. So what we did we provided a lot of toolkit that allowed them to self-test their integration, and I think that went well.
So we can definitely say that there's a rapid technological advancement now, which we are living and feeling it every day. So even our coffee machines are now smarter. Everything is smarter now.
Exactly.
By the way, we have a smart cat litter box back at home, which is just cleans itself at a certain point, which is awesome, by the way. So with this rapid pace of technological advancements, how does your company, Great Tech, decide where to invest in technology and infrastructure? Because that's also a very important thing where money goes, probably.
It would be a lie to say that we're super proficient in that, because we're always we're always evolving there. But at this point, I'm trying to be very holistic in deciding what technology to invest to. So what I personally use is, for example, knowledge about that any technology is kind of evolves as there is this law called S-curve. So you have this very steep curve in the beginning and in the end. In the beginning, it's called incubation. In the end, it's called degradation or something. And then you have this exponential growth. And I think that the best way to identify where to invest would be to actually to detect those
degradation parts, right?
Degradation, yeah. For example, there will be too much hate if I provide examples. But for example, that's
you can provide it. If the company is here, they just learn from it.
Well, for example, I think that if you haven't yet invested in blockchain, there is no reason to do so at this point, because it's on that high level of it starts to steep out. And for example, in case of generative AI, now it's just the best time to invest to it.
So you heard it. Anybody interested in generative AI? So how do you balance the need for immediate solutions with investment in long-term and scalable technology infrastructure?
We use kind of hybrid approach. So we partner with companies who can give us some, quick wins boost. For example, we're strategic partners with AWS, and we take usually what we do when we want to, do this huge leap in technologies. We just go to our partners and take existing solution, but we have a rule in the company that when we kind of implement this solution, responsible engineer should come up with a long-term solution as well. Just exact plan how to reduce the vendor lock in case if this kind of quick solution works well. So.
All right, so you played a crucial role in establishing the engineering mindset at GR8, which is, by the way, great as your company. We're not just saying that because they are sponsoring the banner, because we select these guys. So the sponsors who are here are not just like taken because of their money. We care for them. We like their companies. That's why we had them last year when we had your CEO. I had a great talk with him. And the mindset of great tech overall is great. And I know that the tech part is also good. So my question would be, what core values or principles do you emphasize in the mindset of the engineering side of things?
I would say that the most important thing for me is growth mindset. So I personally don't like to work with kind of engineers who are telling me that there is no way to solve some problem. We don't have expertise and so on and so forth. So I prefer to work with engineers with this growth mindset. Then we really encourage the leadership kind of principles on all levels. Taking ownership, it's very important. And the other thing that I would highlight is the ability to work in uncertain conditions. That's a very important skill, I think.
It's also considered, I think it's a soft skill as well. In the next room, there will be talks about this mind hack, about how to develop your soft skills. It's very good. It's going to be at 2:13, so you must see that one as well. So to our listeners and our viewers watching, listening to this podcast, and everybody who's here, GR8 also has a tech academy. Maybe you would like to apply. Just look them up online. So it seems to be a pivotal part of your strategy for growing the engineering team, which is great. And how do you measure the success of this initiative? And what impact has it had on the company's culture and capabilities? Most probably, you don't have somebody from HR here to just like say.
Well, indeed, we have some boring HR metrics, like the retention rate and stuff like that. But for me, the great indication of GR8 Academy success was that during some crisis situations, I think we've let go like few percent of our interns from academy, and we during the full-scale invasion back in 2022. So we've actually managed to finish our GR8 Academy even in those situations, and those interns are still with us.
That's good. So let's also look ahead and talk about emerging trends or technologies. Do you believe will? I just want to know what are these trends and technologies you believe will have the most significant impact on GR8 and the tech industry in a whole? I'm interested.
Well, I know it's generative AI that's happening at the moment, but I'm really interested in what we'll see next. I mean, beyond these LLMs and ChatGPT and stuff like that, so very interesting. And the other technology that I'm really looking forward to are quantum computers. I mean, we will.
We've been talking about it for 10 years now,
but they're improving. So they're like at the moment I did some research. They're in this incubation phase, but I mean they will be there, and we will have as tech leaders, for example, very interesting opportunities coming with that, but also some problems, I think, because like with if you have enough computation capabilities to actually, for example, to break security and stuff like that, so that would be, I think, interesting times.
it will come hopefully, because it's the same thing, in my opinion, it's the same thing like we had with virtual reality. For the past 10 years, 15 years, oh, it's going to hit mainstream sometime. It never did. It just was a phase with Meta and everything embracing, but now we just shifted from virtual reality to augmented reality. Okay, it's not the case with quantum computing, it's different, but hopefully we will get there, because there is need for more computing power.
Yep.
All right, so you can consider yourself as a mentor. I can say that you're a mentor, my friend. So as a mentor to the next wave of industry professionals, what advice do you offer to those aspiring to lead in tech and engineering fields? Don't just look for the salary or something like that, right?
Well, if we started to talk about salary, so I would give this advice that don't focus too much on the salary. It should be the side effect of your leadership and your capabilities. And then don't be afraid to break the status quo. I think that's very important as well, especially like for I think if you go deep into some domain, for example, like iGaming, stuff like that, don't forget that engineering is much more wider than your domain. So be creative, be curious, don't be afraid to break the status quo.
All right, so this was my final question to you, but we usually do it on our podcast. If you want to have some parting words from our audience who is here in the room or listening or viewing this video.
Hello.
All right, that's some great word. All right, so thank you everyone for joining this session. For those who are listening to this recording, make sure to subscribe to Hipster Talks. Now we move forward. Thank you so much, Artur.
Thank you.